Hello, my name's Rayden Dodd.
And Tyler Rogers.
For our final project, we decided to do a fun little tank game, heavily inspired by the Wii Tanks game. One of the things I'm definitely most passionate about in this project is the drawing of the tank. The tank is drawn by using polar coordinates, using lots of translate and rotate functions that are nested inside of each other, as well as mapping variables to the current rotation that it's at so that the layers of the tank move left and right. This, plus the shadows underneath the tank, make the tank appear that it is in 3D. So because its drawing is done using polar coordinates, it was actually really hard to figure out where the corners of the tank were at what time during what rotation. So we had to do a lot of polar to Cartesian coordinates math. So this actually leads me into my second thing I'm very proud of, which is our collision system. So every object in the game that you see has a function called get corners, and it returns all the corners that it may have. You can have multiple different layers of corners, and then there's one hits function that takes the corners from both objects, and then it gets the lines in between those corners, and it figures out if any of those lines are intersecting, and then based off of that it knows in which way the collision is happening. Because we have this standardized across all of our objects, we actually just made the trajectory for the enemy tank to shoot to just be two corners where it's looking at, where it's coming from, and then that can tell us if it's intersecting any walls or anything by just using the same function that we were using before for the rest of the collisions.
Hello, my name is Tyler Rogers, and I'm proud of many aspects of this project, starting off with the graphics. Everything from the walls to the bombs are hand-drawn. Everything has shadows, and there are randomly generated assets, such as dirt and rocks seen in the background. These graphics were created in PowerPoint using different shapes and then imported into our project. The sounds also add a lot of depth to the game. You can hear bullets ricochet off the wall, level up noises, bombs go off, and there are even noises for when two bullets collide and disappear. I'm also proud of the different items in the game. The player is able to place down bombs, and it takes a few seconds for it to explode. It makes the game a little more interactive and allows the player to blow up walls before they actually are able to access the enemies. The power-ups also make the level more doable by giving the player a few seconds of shield and some extra health. However, they have to be careful because the enemies can pick them up as well. The different tanks also make the game a little more interesting because some of them are able to shoot missiles, however, while some are able to just shoot bullets. Some can rapid fire and move quickly, while others can drop bombs. We also have an invisible tank where you're forced to watch the enemy's tracks to know where it is. Finally, once we place all those components in, we're able to seamlessly make new levels by changing the tile map and editing a few parameters to modify the tank's behavior and the player's health.